us about your experiences with politics when you were younger.
My mom used to watch like the nightly news, and she was very involved in politics. She would always talk about them, so I kind of would just like sit around the television at night with her watching the nightly news and kind of just paying attention to what's been going on. And I grew up in a pretty conservative part of like the state, so like my family was very liberal, so I always kind of stuck out in that way. So I feel like whenever you stick out, you tend to be a little bit more passionate to kind of compensate for the lack of numbers around you. So yeah.
How did you get into politics once you grew older?
A lot of like every campaign has, from like city council all the way up to the presidential races, have a lot of volunteer opportunities, and I started off volunteering for the Wendy Davis campaign over the summer, which turned into an internship.
What was the process for becoming a voter registrar?
So the process of becoming a voter registrar is very different from being in a campaign. The way Texas does voter registration is volunteers go to their local county offices to go through a voter registrar class or little like one-on-one. And once you do that, you get your little voter registration ID. I actually have mine in there if you'd like to see them. So then you're just a volunteer, and every county has different forms that you have to have depending on where people live. So Dallas County has different forms than Travis, which is different from Harris. And then you just kind of know all the basics of voter registration, so you don't break the law, because that's frowned upon. And then you turn in the forms within 4 days to the local office, so they can tabulate them and make sure everybody's registered.
Walk us through the typical day of working as a voter registrar.
Everything is different, just because of the way that people do events. Like, I know I volunteered at a few in different locations in my area. I did voter registration at a mosque one time during Eid, which was really cool. And then I've also done voter registration at malls. We've done it like guerrilla style, where we're just standing in parking lots registering voters, which is kind of creepy, but it's important. As well as like we did a lot of work in Spanish to register voters. So I was at an El Salvadorian church one time, which was really cool. So there's really no set location because it's all volunteer driven, and campaigns, both sides of the aisle, have like volunteer registrars that go out and register voters regardless of their party. So you'll find a lot of people registering voters, especially around campaign season, because they want you to be able to vote for their candidate.
How do you feel about the voting rates in America currently?
Too low. Especially all my experiences are in Texas because I'm from here, that's where I've worked. Texas especially has a really bad voter apathy problem, which is very apparent whenever the numbers come out after elections in Texas, where the vast majority of registered voters don't actually go out to vote. So it's a very frustrating situation, and it definitely needs to change.
How do you think our country can increase civic participation?
It starts with a mentality, the sentiment people have about democracy and about the voting process, and so people don't see it as a chore, but as something not necessarily to be excited about, even though I find it exciting, as something that needs to be done. People don't have a sense of urgency about voting, and we really need to get that back into our people.
What are your plans for the future in regards to your political life?
I don't know. I really hope I'm going to renew my voter registration, or my voter registrar license, certificate, I don't know, this January when it expires, and I really hope I can go out there and, talk to a few more people about the importance of their vote, and hopefully it'll pay off pretty soon. Hopefully we see our voter turnout numbers go up, especially here in Texas and just across the country.
Any last words you can give to all the eligible voters out there?
Go out and vote. Literally, that's all you have to do. It is so easy. They give you so many opportunities to vote during election season. Just go out and do it. Because quite frankly, your excuse probably sucks. You should still go out and vote.